Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and once again we're here with Dan Priest from Dan Priest Insurance Agency in Lumberton, but they've got a home here and he writes a lot of policies down here. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We were talking before and I said, what's the topic today? And you said liability, and I've never really thought about that whenever it comes to vacation rentals down here, because you've got people from out of state or maybe even out of country staying here. And I've heard of some accidents at beach homes down here where a railing broke or elevator fell or something. And so there is a liability, and you do have to be covered for it.
Yes, you do. And you know, it's not just on vacation rentals. While that is part of what we're talking about, there's other liability too. You have liability even if this is your primary home or if it's your secondary home. And there's different things that you can do.
If someone comes over to visit you and they tripped out and fell down the stairs?
Yep, then it would step in for that way. And there's ways that you can add to that very inexpensively. And it's not just that liability. We also have liability through golf carts and boats, and the importance of talking to an insurance agent about that. So,
well, and it's state law that you have liability insurance on your vehicle, right?
Yes, correct. So people can accomplish liability coverage. Number one, you have to have the right type of liability insurance for your exposure. So, which gets back to the importance of talking to someone like us or your insurance agent about what you're doing. The more we know, the better that we're able to help our clients with the cost differentials. Otherwise, you're sometimes stacking cost. A very simple way to do that is some carriers with your primary home, let's say your primary home is off away from the beach, there's an endorsement on your homeowner's policy that's typically very expensive. For $5 maybe a year, or in some cases 10, you can extend the liability coverage that is already on your homeowners down to secondary properties that you own. So that's one way you can add that coverage. And then of course you may want to have primary coverage on the property as well, and that exposure needs to be for what it is, whether it's a primary home, if your second home is a second home, or if you're using a beach house or a lake house as a vacation rental, it needs to be designated as such in that policy. So there's one thing.
Is there different levels of, and I say levels, if your house is on the ground versus if it's built in the air, depending on the floors you have? How do they figure out what your liability is? Or is it just, hey, I want to be covered for this amount and that?
I'm not sure of your question. Are
if
you talking about coverage for the house?
Right. Well, the liability, if someone's in your house and say you have tile floors versus carpeted floors.
No, there's no.
Okay.
That's not an issue. What could things that could exclude liability or cause problems is typically unfenced hazards, or
like a pool
or a trampoline, or in some cases certain types of animals are restricted. But even beyond that, people sometimes buy umbrella policies.
Okay.
And an umbrella is really, if you think about it, works just like an umbrella. We have, whether it's rain or the sun coming in, we could point that umbrella that way and it would give us shelter. But the deal with an umbrella is there can be leaks underneath it. So liability, an insurance carrier needs to know the exposure. So if you have golf carts, second homes, without disclosing that information on your umbrella, you could find yourself without coverage if you don't have liability coverage specifically underneath that.
And down here with vacation rentals, that's a big thing, is making sure you have the right insurance and enough liability insurance for someone that's staying there, because you're running, 25 or 30 families a year minimum probably into your home, and accidents happen.
Accidents do, and again, whether it's a vacation rental, a second home that maybe you have a guest down, or your primary home in wherever it is, liability is an issue and it occurs. So you need to protect those things that you've worked all your life for really a very low amount of money, because the liability section is not a costly part of the policy, and it's important you get it right.
Right, right. Well, if people want to get hold of you, maybe they have a policy and they just, it's sort of like a doctor's visit and you need to have surgery. It's always great to get a second opinion. if people want to, excuse me, talk to you about their insurance or get some new insurance, how can they get hold of you?
Call us at 409-755-7600 or visit us at priestinsuranceenagency.com.
Great. Well, there you have it from Dan Priest Insurance. Dan himself, man, I feel like we're in Hawaii.
It's
you know,
beautiful.
the black beach, it's a bunch of mulch is washed in, and it's actually pretty down here. And I was out before you got here looking because it almost looked like some sea beans, but it's really balsa wood. So anyway, we're going to head on out. Remember, if you need more information on this, want to get an opinion or an evaluation on your insurance policy, get hold of Priest Insurance Agency. They come down here to your house. They can meet you here or in Beaumont or wherever your home is, and they'll take care of you. You can find them online at www.priestinsuranceenagency.com. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live with Dan Priest. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye. Priest Insurance Agency has been located in the heart of Lumberton, Texas since 2001, providing a consultative approach and educating customers on how their insurance works for them throughout the coastal region of Texas. Priest Insurance specializes in the coastal region of Texas, covering home, auto, business, and recreational insurance. With ties to the coastal communities, Dan Priest has had the sand between his toes since 1972 with a home on Bolivar Peninsula in Galveston County. He survived a storm named Ike, but lost his home. With insurance coverage, his family was able to rebuild following the 2008 storm and continues to make memories beachfront. Priest Insurance specializes in the coastal communities, family dwellings, investment property, and business insurance. They've been there. Whether you're looking for or have a family retreat along the Texas coast, investment property, or a business, Priest Insurance would be honored to work with you and your family to make sure you're covered anytime trouble arises. For more information on Priest Insurance and their contact information, please visit their website at www.priestinsuranceenagency.com, or their office is open for phone calls with questions and consultation Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. by calling 409-755-7600. Priest Insurance Agency, working and educating customers, making sure they understand and have the coverage they deserve.